Hey, everybody. The U.S. prepares for the zombie apocalypse. What's under your floorboards? And strange celebrity encounters. All of this and so much more right now on The Morning Laugh.
Good morning, America and Suzanne Summers, wherever you are. It's time for The Morning Laugh. I'm Brian Kohatsu, and without any further ado, I'm going to bring out our cast of characters. We have Mike James is in the house with us. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
And of course, Josh Novey as the Beaver. Good morning, Josh.
Oh, good morning, man.
Great. Chris Wineland.
Look at me, I'm the Beaver.
Come here, I'm the Beaver. Child. Oh.
Hey, I'm the Beaver. Hey, Mrs.
Yo, June. June.
If you welcome listeners and viewers, Chris Wineland is sick, guys. Chris has walking pneumonia.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
Sleeping pneumonia or skydiving pneumonia. Yeah. I actually do think he is sick. He is not. He's not playing around. I've had walking pneumonia. Have either one of you had walking pneumonia?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if there's any symptoms, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, you can walk. That's one symptom.
that's the other symptom is that you have pneumonia and you can't stop walking.
So that's the problem I have about whether or not I had it, because I can always walk. So I don't know if I ever had it.
Yes, I've had walking pneumonia twice, and it's not fun. So Chris, if you're watching, which I doubt you should be sleeping, we are thinking of you. We hope you get better soon. They just put him on some antibiotics, so he's COVID free, but he does have a series of other infections, I'm sure, in his body, but and walking pneumonia. So
just so you heard it here first, guys, that walking pneumonia, by Brian's definition, not fun, as opposed to dancing pneumonia.
Exactly. Dancing pneumonia actually you lose some weight during that one. I have found, but
I like jazzercise pneumonia is probably the best you could get.
Yeah. The problem is that because he's white, he can't get it because he doesn't know how to dance. So it's never mind. Okay. Anyways,
it's more like restless leg syndrome, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
For him. So, in the fact that Chris is sick with walking pneumonia, he of course he messaged us to tell us that he was not feeling well, and then he made a Walking Dead reference, which was just pretty natural, I would think, that someone's going to do. So, which got me. It's weird because you know how you say something and your phone picks up certain things, and suddenly you're inundated with ads based on those things. Well, something popped up in my feed shortly after saying, actually, I didn't even say it out loud. I was reading it, and then it popped into my head. But so the CDC has one page dedicated toward the zombie apocalypse. Have you guys seen this at all?
I have not.
It's actually under zombie preparedness is actually what it's under. Okay. So if you go to it is cdc.gov/CPR/zombie.
Okay.
You will see everything you need to know about how to prepare for the zombie apocalypse.
Under CPR?
Yeah. If you see a zombie, do CPR on the zombie.
Do not touch them directly on the lips.
Is the zombie apocalypse, is that considered a pandemic? Will we need masks and such?
Well, you'll have to
it is a pandemic.
It's zombie pandemic preparedness, yes. So
I'm picturing zombies coming after you, and you're just 6 feet, everybody, 6 feet.
Don't let them cough on you.
Do you think that when the zombies go to eat your brains, they have to take off their masks before they take a bite, and then they have to put them back on?
Now, foolish Josh, you're assuming they're wearing one mask.
Oh.
They could be wearing up to 3.
Let's just look through the other pages of the CDC and find out what's recommended.
So what's funny? So it was started off as kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. It literally says that in there on the page. But what they've done is that they're trying to just get people's frame of mind ready for preparedness for any kind of major disaster. And again, yesterday here, for those of you on the East Coast watching, yesterday we had a terrible wind yesterday, which is like terrible here in Arizona. It shut down the city.
It blew some of the pillows off of our lawn furniture.
Yeah. So we got everyone's got to deal with picking up, that today. So also in watching with the zombie preparedness, it was a question of like, oh yeah, storms and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of to teach kids how to prepare for a disaster. So they've got, they use the zombie. You could replace the word zombie with flood or earthquake or
so earthquake pandemic.
So what?
Earthquake pandemic.
Earthquake
Replace the word zombie.
Not necessarily pandemic, but preparedness. So,
okay.
So my question to you is, on a more serious note, are you guys ready for a zombie apocalypse? And if so, do you have a plan in place?
So my wife and I have a plan. We've had this plan for quite some time, and it's a ridiculous plan. And this is only not during the general apocalypse time, but more like specifically if we're attacked at our home. And our plan is this. She runs into the master bedroom closet where there's a bat, and she hides there. And I take my gun and I go and confront who's ever trying to break in, and presumably shoot them dead.
Okay,
there,
that's a plan.
It's a plan. You know what? You have a plan.
It is a plan. It's a workable plan. Do you have the bat?
Yeah, the bat's in our closet. It's always been there.
So I think everybody who's listening is asking, wood or aluminum?
It's aluminum.
Oh, okay.
She has a bad shoulder. She didn't want a heavy wood bat.
Which you would think would be outlawed in most zombie pandemics, but I think the league said it's okay.
Well, the problem is if it turns out to be a vampire pandemic, then we don't have any wooden thing to shove through his heart.
Yeah.
And aluminum won't work, I don't think.
Well, okay, so I got to tell you, it's smart that we're talking about this now. So, Mike, you might want to go buy a wooden bat just so you're covered for both.
I may.
Yeah, see, you can learn a lot, everyone. I hope you're taking notes. Josh, do you have a zombie apocalypse?
I do.
Plan?
I do have a plan. I can't tell you because that would tell everyone exactly what our plan is, and that's not.
Your plan is secret from the zombies.
Yeah. No. My plan is secret from the humans because the zombies, like, we can all fight against the zombies. It's the human element. That's the one you don't know about.
That's always been the problem.
The
human element when it comes to the zombie films, because we end up fighting each other.
I don't understand it. Why can't we just get along? We've got a common enemy. Let's just get along.
If we can't even get along during a zombie apocalypse, just let the zombies win, right?
You know what's going to happen is that there's going to be zombies, and immediately it'll be politicized.
Mm-hmm. It will be.
Whoever president, it's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing enough.
So just so you guys know that a few years ago, my wife and I were watching a zombie movie. I can't remember which one. It was probably Zombieland. And afterwards I said, so how do you think we'd fare in a zombie apocalypse? And my wife said, I think we do pretty well. And I said, I think we do pretty well too. My idea is, so for you guys know this, but the listening public. So my wife's a professional golfer. And I said, here's what I would do. I would, in a very cool A-team kind of montage, I would take her golf clubs, and then I would basically take all of her blades down to really make them blades on all the irons. And then I would say, in the feeling of the movie Signs, I would say, swing away. And then she would just swing away.
Would you have a glass of water on the top of your television?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like getting them wet, so they'd be like disoriented for a second, and then it would be great though, because if it was like a 5-foot zombie, she'd be like 7-iron. I like that in this scenario. I'm the caddy for the zombie apocalypse.
I suggest a driver for this.
Exactly. I'd go big dog. I'd let the big dog eat. Go graphite right to the skull.
That's so funny.
So the other thing is that that was a legit conversation that probably lasted 15 minutes. And we really thought, I think we do pretty good.
I think your family would do pretty well. You do well. My concern always with anything, it's a serious concern, but it's like if things really went bad and we had to like hunker down, my family's spread out a little bit. I mean, my son and my daughter both live fairly close,
right?
But my other son lives way out in North Carolina. So our plan is my wife would go with my daughter and her husband up to this cabin. I'm not telling you where, And then Seth, my other son that lives by us, we'd go out to North Carolina to collect my other son and his family and bring them back in a Humvee. We don't have a Humvee though, so that's the problem.
You must acquire one, sure.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever driven a Humvee, Mike?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Not like the military. I've driven a street Humvee.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like the military ones, if you ever get your hands on one, they break down all the time. So you need so just so if you're wondering, anybody out there's like, oh, I need to get a Humvee. Okay, first of all, you need to learn how to become a diesel mechanic.
Well, can I just stop in a service station?
Yeah.
Well, I think here's the deal. I think what Josh is saying, that if in a zombie apocalypse, pick a vehicle that is known to have better stability, like a Honda, maybe, or
or a Prius. Get a Prius.
I feel like that would be eaten by the zombies.
It's biodegradable. It's good for the environment. Norm has said zombie lives matter. Wait, never mind. That's exactly the kind of politicizing we were talking about. That would happen. It would happen.
ZLM would come up right away.
I don't know. So all right. So we all have a plan. If you're listening, get yourself a zombie apocalypse plan. Find yourself. I don't know. You got to find out who in the neighborhood has a good vehicle. I think that's what it boils down to. Find a good vehicle, go with that, and then you'll be safe.
Find out. This is honestly, you need to find out who your prepper friends are, right? So, because if anything happens, they're the first ones gone. They're out. They have a cabin. Go to their house and take all their food. That's the number one thing.
Kind of going back to your original question, then, Brian. So preparing, we do have it's funny because Y2K and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm in the technology industry. I know that stuff pretty well, so I wasn't ever worried about Y2K. And I was watching people, gather all the food and the water and everything just in case, and I thought it was quite silly. Now, in looking back in this last couple of years of life, we now have stored food, not like pantries full, but like emergency food in a bucket, that kind of stuff. Do you guys have anything like that? Besides being able to fight off an intruder, do you have any?
Oh man! So see, I have my house is loaded with weapons. That's it.
You have melee weapons. You have nunchucks and.
You come to my house, you're going mano a mano. That's what you're going. You're not getting a bullet. You're getting a fistful of nunchuck.
By the way, I to this day have not seen you do your nunchuck demonstration, and I know you can do it because you told me about it. So
well, we did it. I did it in an ad years ago for a show.
You did?
I was the Shanghai Kid.
Oh, I remember this. Yes,
a long time ago, for reasons beyond all belief.
Speaking of shows,
I don't have it at the moment to show.
I mean, also but Shanghai's not in Japan. Right?
No, but when people make posters and think, oh, Japanese, he must be Chinese, and then put up Chinese references, you just have to go with it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's speaking of shows, I do believe Chris is truly ill because we had a show last night and he was not able to make it, and Chris would not miss a comedy show.
No, we did a stand-up show yesterday, over 100 people, which in comedic terms, that's 1,000. But we did. We had a good show last night. The three of us were there. Chris could not make it. You're right. Chris would not miss an opportunity unless he was. He doesn't have the stand-up pneumonia. He's just walking pneumonia.
Yeah, well, I guess we should have told him he could have walked around while he performed.
He could have walked on stage.
Wait, I want to see the stand-up pneumonia. I've got the stand-up. What's the deal with coughing up your leg?
You ever notice? Yeah. While you're sucking in air the whole time. Not fun. Yeah.
It was a fun show. So many people afterwards were saying, with the assumption that we hadn't performed at all in a year, probably because we kind of alluded to that during the show, like it's so good to be out. It's been a year since we really, of course we have had a few shows, but anyway, so many people were so happy, and their general response was, it's just so good to get out and laugh. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's just kind of feeling that whole thing. Just
that was the biggest.
Enough.
That was the biggest compliment I think over the night was thank you so much, guys. We really needed the laugh.
Yeah.
So, because laughter, my friends, is a gift.
Mm.
I was touched by the guy in the front row halfway through my set who said, and I quote, "Don't know what it meant."
Yeah.
So two things are going there, Mike. Either one, he had too much to drink,
Pretty much, I'm sure that's what it was.
or he was becoming a zombie. Now, I can't prove either one of them.
I that may be true because after the show I saw him and he looked like this. He looked like a zombie.
I want to say something happened last night at the show during my set, which I'm not sure if it's ever happened in the history of comedy shows. Somebody's cell phone started playing music during my set, and this man stopped my show to yell at everyone to turn off their phones to stop. Turns out it was his phone, so he stopped the show.
I was in the back trying to figure out if the house music was on.
Yeah, Mike's unplugging stuff in the back,
trying to figure out why is the house music on. Yeah, and it was this guy's phone in his pocket in the audience.
Yeah, and he was yelling. He stopped the show. Everybody, turn off your phones.
I don't know that any of them were watching this morning, but was that Steve that did that?
It was.
It was Steve. It was Steve with air quotes.
When I went out, I said, "So who's Steve?" And because you had called him out, it was Steve that had the phone, right? And I heard that. So when I went out, I said, "Who's?" And they pointed him out, and I said, "So your phone went off, or your phone was making music?" And he was adamant, "No, my phone is 5 miles away. I'm just taking the fall for everybody."
Oh my God.
It was pretty funny because he was just very upset and adamant that it was not him.
That's funny because I came out and said, "Hey, thank you, everybody," and Steve, and then he went.
he did not want to be called out.
No, that was good. So, all right. Well, we've battered most of this together.
So wait a minute before we move on. If you were in the zombie apocalypse and you had to hide something, where would you hide? Hide anything? I always wanted to hide stuff under the floor because that's in the movies. But I have a concrete floor, no basement, so it would not be too easy to do that. Do you have floorboards in your home?
No,
because we're in Arizona. There's no floorboards.
There's some homes that have basements and floorboards.
Sure,
Josh,
but
those are rich people, Mike. I don't know them.
It's hard enough to dig into the soil here.
It is. So every house here is just pretty much built on top of whatever's there.
You see very angry dogs walking around with bones. Like, I have no place to put this,
and their paws are all raw.
That's why they usually go for like a plant that has just been planted. Like, oh, okay, it doesn't grow. I noticed too yesterday here it was so windy, and you look out and you look at the trees, kind of moving. I remember as a little kid here in Arizona looking out and seeing the cactus, and you're like, oh, it's fine outside because the cactus you can't know it's windy. Thanks a lot, cactus. One, no shade, and you can't even let me know it's windy outside.
Yeah. But that's because when you ask the cactus, you're like, you look out and you're like, "Hey, cactus, how's it looking out there?" And the cactus is like this. Fine, it's fine.
Every cactus I've met is very indifferent.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bring a jacket. I don't know. It's like I don't know.
If I was gonna hide something, I would Andy Dufresne it. I would, there's a wall down by in El Mirage, and if you follow that up to, there's a rock that doesn't belong there.
The problem with that too is I don't know whether or not you can trust anybody with a regular map that's not been GPSed. Like if you actually drew out a map and said, "Here's this road,"
there should be a treasure GPS. Go to the X, 3 paces to the left.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's your TV show of all time. Is you take 2 kids, 20 years old, you give them a map, and $500 and say you have to make it to this location.
I say give them $5,000 if they can fold it right.
True. That would be good. I think Mike brings up this subject because I was telling him about the story that I saw in Scotland where these 2 guys were renovating a house, and under the floorboards they found a bottle of whiskey and a note and it was from 2001. Let me read it. I don't need bifocals, by the way. It said Jack and May lived here, 3 kids and a dog. Kitchen done up during April, May 2001. And it was a bottle of Glenicke whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then basically they were like, have a drink on us, boys. So 2001, a millennium ago.
So Jack and May went under the floor to fetch a pail of whiskey.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done that though? Have you left anything in your house for the next owners?
When we sold our house up in Washington State, when we moved to Arizona, I didn't leave any artifacts for them other than the house. But my wife wrote a long list of things for them to be aware of where we lived, from how to feed the raccoons, just helpful hints on how to live in that particular house on that particular property.
How to survive.
It was crazy. I think I still have it somewhere, like stored on a computer. Yeah, it was crazy. It was pages and pages of stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
that's your assignment for next week, Mike, is to see if you can find it and give us the highlights of that.
Okay, I'll look for that. But no, I don't. I've never left anything or found any treasure from previous owners.
Yeah, I think I was an adult the first time I saw like a movie where they had like a hidden floorboard or like a baseboard or something that they took out and they had like something hidden behind it. And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. If I should go back to when I was a kid and go do this so that somebody finds something very odd when they renovate this house. That's what I want.
The only thing I've done is in my previous house, there was our bedroom closet was a little funky. So it was walk in, but there was a little nook area like this from where the bathroom was on the other side. So it was kind of like a little dead zone area for clothes. But I remember being up there one day. It was toward the end where we were clearing out, moving. It was some of the stuff that was in that area. And so I wrote really tiny on the wall, "Why are you here?" Figuring at some point they'll be up there going, "What did that say?" Make it very difficult for them to have to look. Why are you here? I don't know. So yeah, that whole thing, Josh, you were talking about the floorboards, made me think. Mike knows him. I don't know if you've met him, but Michael Hurley, who's a comic here in the Valley, the house he lived in previously that he was renting was owned previously by an FBI guy. And where their wall unit center was, there was a hidden door that you could go behind it. It was a little teeny tiny little safe room. And then there was a ladder that went upstairs into the bedroom closet. It was a really cool little, escape room, security room. So I want to build one, but I want like it underground with bats and a cool car.
Back when I lived in Washington, there was a guy I knew that lived across the bay, but he had a huge house. And it looked like a castle. It was really cool. But so he, in an attempt to hide the square footage from the county, he had a very large area that was hidden. So when they went in to measure his house, they couldn't find this other. They didn't measure that. So he was a couple thousand square feet shy of what he should have been. Yeah, it's weird. You'd think they would have measured the outside and thought, wait a minute, there's missing space here. Right. But the living space was much better. But he showed, and it was secret like that. It was I can't remember if it was a bookcase. Somehow it was a false wall, and it went into a spiral staircase that went up into the attic, and another one that went down into a basement that was all hidden from them.
Yeah. That sounds. It sounds like he kept people, Mike. That's what it sounds like.
No, he was a nice guy. Just was trying to save on his.
Anyway, my friend. I have this friend. You might know him. His famous catchphrase is, "It puts the lotion on its skin." It's Bill. You know Bill. He's a good guy. Yeah.
I was gonna say you're right. If you have a hidden room, something's going on. I think it's a novelty. The novelty idea for the rest of us in the world is just like, ooh, cool, a secret door. There was a business I used to go to, and they actually had a secret. They put up. It was a really nice bookshelf in front of this door that swung on the bookshelf, so that would open the door up. The only problem is everyone said, "Oh, it gets so hot in that room," so it was never closed. It was always cracked open, so you could always go, "Oh, is that a room?" Yeah, and it's a failed door at this point, but I don't know.
Well, I decided I had my grandkids over the other day, some of them, and I decided to play chess. So this 35 years of marriage is the choral anniversary. So as a gift, my wife bought me a choral chess set.
Oh,
And so it was sitting there, and it's very fragile. Coral's like glass, if you drop it or whatever, it's going to break. So it's been sitting up in this cabinet. I haven't even played it, but the kids were pointing it out. So I finally got that out, and I taught my grandkids how to play chess. And then I was soundly beaten several times in a row.
June says the secret door in my house is the laundry room. No one else seems to know it's there.
That's funny.
So true. So, are you just a really good teacher when it comes to chess?
I've never been great at chess, but also in my defense, that's my granddaughter Peyton, and me with my tongue out trying to figure out how'd she do that.
The thing is that so you're playing chess and she's playing you. Look, see that's the problem is that you're on the board.
My eyes.
In this picture, she's eyeballing you like, "Come on, old man."
And I'm sure
we ain't got all night.
There's somebody that's going to look at this picture and go, "Oh well, yeah, sure. She's playing the rook's sideways gardener. That's why. That's the move right there." Anyway, so I was kind of taking it easy. I wasn't paying attention to my strategy, just trying to help them figure out how the moves work. And then I got beaten. But then my grandson, he knew right away. He trapped me several different ways. There's no way out of it. He knew right what to do.
That's crazy.
So I've never been great at chess. I know the basics how to play and all that.
House. He's also really good at chess. So
yeah,
never mind. Oh well.
Josh, do you play chess, Josh?
I know how to play. Like it's like a lot of things. I know how to do it. Can I? No.
I know how to roof a house, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know how to frame and drywall and do all the stuff. Will I? No, I don't. How about this? We could do a chess tournament for the morning laugh, and we all lose is what will happen. Is we all give up before the game is over.
I love how quickly the brackets would be. Win, next, loss, yay! I'm out. I haven't played chess in years. I mean, here's the funny thing. So my brother and I, when we were little kids, it was like my brother was like, "We're gonna play chess," and I think we played maybe once, and he was bored out of his mind. So then chess became setting up your thing, and then you would take a pawn and you go, boom, and then you would flick your finger on the pawn trying to knock out the rest, of the other side's pieces, and then it was your turn. So whoever was out first would win. But if you don't like chess, this might make you like chess. It was
like playing marbles.
Very fun. It's like Mortal Kombat for chess. It was fun.
When I was a kid, we used to take a piece of paper in school. We would take a piece of paper, and each person the two people would draw like their army on each side, and then when you wanted to shoot, you'd mark with your pencil real dark on your side, and then fold the paper in half and see who it hit. Did you ever do that game?
No.
It's a very simplistic game, but it was quiet, and you could do it while the teacher didn't know you were playing a game.
So it's like Battleship almost.
It was a lot like
in a weird way.
So what did you? So when I was growing up, we played a lot of word games. So Scrabble, Scattergories, Trivial Pursuit was probably our biggest one that we always played as a family. What did you guys play?
Easily, my friend and I down the street, we used to play Mastermind all the time.
Oh, I love that game.
The four colored peg ones.
Yeah. So I got one right and one in the correct position.
One right, one's in the right location, the other's no. And you're like, I just remember.
I love that game.
Yeah, good thinking game.
So like if there's a word to be spelled in our house, it always comes to me. I can spell the word. And I have a pretty good vocabulary, but playing Scrabble, no. My wife kicks my rear. We have a magnetic Scrabble game on our wall. We've had it for years. Our daughter-in-law bought it for us and our son, I guess, years ago, and we've played it. So we have this ongoing game. It's always ongoing. It's been my turn for about 2 weeks now, and my wife always beats me in Scrabble, always. But growing up, we didn't really play any board games or anything that I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. What was the other one we used to play? I used to actually play backgammon quite a bit. And learned a couple different types of backgammon games.
I don't know why. Backgammon's one of those games where you picture, were you smoking a pipe?
No, but I had a chilled whiskey.
Did you get it under the floor?
I did find it under the floor. It's an amazing childhood. It really was. Then we go hunting with the dogs. It was great. It was a good time to be alive. Yeah, it's interesting now because, trying to like my kids, like during the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, the current pandemic, we decided to, we actually started playing board games again. Like, what is that one? Where you have the name of what you are on top of your head. And everyone
they have one called Headbands.
Headbands, that's the one where you
that one's been around forever. They just came out with a package version of it. But Headbands, that's a fun one.
So a lot of games like that. A lot of the word ones where you caption the words. So they're like you get a picture and then you have your cards to kind of caption it. It's like that. What's that terrible adult game?
Life.
What is it? Whatever Humanity.
Oh, Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's like a kid's version of that to some degree. Yeah. So those are kind of our go-tos.
My wife and I have created several games over the years. Excuse me. We had one game we played a long time ago, which was you would pick a word out of the dictionary, any word, and then you'd try to find a word people didn't know the meaning of, and then you'd say the word, spell it, everybody would write it down, and then everybody had a piece of paper, you would write the real meaning in your own words, not dictionary language, and everybody else would write what they thought it was. You'd collect them all and then read them, and whoever you guessed correctly would win the round or whatever. It was really fun, but they since came out with a game. I think I don't know if it's Boulder Dash or one of those games is basically that same thing. They just have the words already. We called it Fictionary.
Oh, nice.
Oh. So you're saying that you had a $1 billion idea and you just didn't believe in yourself, Mike, is what happened.
No, I believed in myself. I was going to market it and everything. My problem is not faith in myself. It's lack of ambition. I don't get up and do it.
So I guess Mike and Josh, both question to you, because you're I don't know if you guys know this, but you're not the same age. You're a little bit further apart. Oh. Do you find that when it comes to your games, are you trying to find games that are more educational to yourself and that challenge you mentally?
So,
go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say we always have this battle in our home. Games. Jenny loves to play games of chance, just like whatever happens, or I need to have the game be like some sort of skill. You have control over the outcome some way, like trivia or something like that. I don't mind losing at trivia, and I'm not the best trivia player, but I'm not like you, Brian. But I could do okay. But she hates those games. Those kind of games.
Oh,
I bet to answer your question, I like games that I feel like, okay, I'm learning something. Not too much. If it's too heavy or too complicated, I'm like, out. I don't.
Right, Josh.
Yeah. I love the educational games. Any kind of trivia game, I'm all about it. Or anything you have to use like your brain, like Clue is. Oh, that's a huge.
Or coloring books.
Coloring books, specifically the ones that the less the lines, the better for me. Like
just a big square.
Josh has a connect the dots. It's a connect the dots book with two dots.
It's just a blank page at this point. It's just I can't even stand inside the lines with that one. I mean, that's those are my favorite ones. Is I love the ones where you have to kind of use your brain. But the same thing, not too much, because some people are very into those intricate board games that I don't like them, and I think they're boring. When I think when the rules of the game take longer to talk about than the game itself,
Right.
becomes
I'm like you. I think clues are about the right level of mental engagement that I like to have in a game.
Yeah. It's weird because like I would not enjoy playing Mastermind now, I don't think. Whereas I've been like, I have that Wordscape app on my phone. So, it gives you a collective group of words, and then you have to spell out words, and like so many words you have to find within like a crossword puzzle-ish kind of
like that
grid. I like it only because I'm not a great speller. My mother was spelling illiterate sometimes when it came to.
I'm not a great speller. My mother wasn't a great speller. Her mother wasn't a great speller. Long line of bad spellers.
I'm telling you, it is genetic.
Like he said, my mother was spelling illiterate, so just illiterate. My mom, she didn't know how to spell or read or write or anything.
My mother spelled illiterate with 5 L's.
She was like reading illiterate,
Ironically, illiterate is a long, complex word.
Another one of life's ironies, my friend. I don't know. I just like to, I don't know. I like to, if I spell a word correctly, I'm like, wow, look at that. Out of the, like, it's basically the jumble kind of more or less, but it's kind of, I don't know. But I do like, by the way, there's a show on, it's ABC, I think it is. It's The Chase. Have you seen this?
There used to be a show called The Paper Chase. I'm thinking, never mind.
Oh, Paper Chase, right? No, not the John, what's his name, show. But The Chase is like they put like Ken Jennings, the guy from Jeopardy. It's him and a couple other Jeopardy winners. There, you're going against them, answering questions correctly. So if you miss or whatever, they gain on you. So if you answer correctly, you move forward. If they answer, they do too. But if they miss one, they go back, or you go back forward.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's called The Chase. But I wasn't prepared to talk about this in particular. But the host of that show, I don't know who she is, but man, she's fantastic. The questions are so rapid fire. She doesn't miss a beat and keeps that show going. And it's a very complex show to set up, but once you get it, it moves pretty quick. But I can't remember what night it's on, but it's really good. The Chase. I think you guys would really like it. But
that sounds good.
It's a mix of trivia and all kinds of things. But I usually walk away going, "Oh, I learned something," and I like to learn because that's who I am.
There's a new show with Craig Ferguson. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Actually, I'm looking it up. I'm trying to remember what it is.
The Hustler?
The Hustler. It is not a good show.
Okay.
It's a little bit interesting.
The Chase is on before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're watching a scheduled television program. I am streaming this, so I don't know.
True.
But it's the idea is that there are 4 people. One of them is the hustler and is lying. And the rest of them have to figure out who it is. And it sounds like, kind of cool. And they have all these questions and hints and all that. But there's absolutely zero way to just know. It's a complete wild guess every time because the person's lying and trying to pretend like they're in on. It's just, there's no strategy in the show. So it really makes it boring. I'm a Craig Ferguson fan. I always thought he was clever and funny and good.
Yeah, Craig Ferguson, I think I'm glad he's back on television, but I don't think I've tried watching that show and I can't get past the first 5 minutes of it. Do you guys recall, probably not you, Josh, so much. Do you remember Liars Club? Where it would be like 3 celebrities, 2 contestants, and they would show you something and say, "What is this?" And celebrity number 1 would say, "Oh, this is a thermometer." And then the second one would say, "Oh, this is a device used to clean out your ear." And the third one would say what it really is. It's a pin, And then the contestant had to figure out who was lying. But it was. I thought that show was really, really great at the time. I was a young kid and very impressionable. So maybe it was horrible.
Sounds like a classic bit from This Old House, where they say, "What is this?" And then Mark and Tom they all take a turn asking, "You guys don't watch This Old House? That's okay. Okay, that's all right."
Liars Club. I think they changed it's still on. They changed the name to MSNBC. I think.
Oh yeah.
40 minutes into the show, our first political reference. If you're just listening, Mike James
loves the first volley.
You're up, MSN.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Welcome to the Liars Club with me, Rachel Maddow. You're on the air, Schenectady.
Rachel Maddow sounds a lot like somebody else. Look at me, I'm Rachel Maddow.
It's me.
Rachel Maddow has the glasses. She just started wearing suspenders recently. All right, Poughkeepsie, tell us your opinion. Go. Anytime anybody passes, someone must continue on. I don't know who the next Rush is going to be, so look out for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good. What if you think they pulled someone from like someone from MSNBC to be the new Rush, and they're like, listen, you're going to make millions of dollars, but you need to be.
You got to be conservative. Go.
You got to be conservative. Yeah.
I don't know. It could happen.
I suspect most of those media people are a little more concerned with the dollar than their political philosophy.
No, Mike.
I don't know, but I don't know, Josh. I'm just saying.
Don't you break the fourth wall from me.
So, not to be too political, but Dr. Seuss has been pulled from several school curriculums and such for being racist. I heard this and I thought, I couldn't in my head think, what on earth? Why is it? But then I saw some pictures of some older works that I thought, oh yeah, that one's a little, it's the pictures, not anything else.
Okay.
There's a African tribe in one of the books that is depicted in a pretty negative light, and a couple. Oh, there's one. A Chinaman eats with sticks.
Yeah,
and it's mostly the visual depiction, but I don't know.
Part of that too is fueled by, I guess, a lot of his political pictures of the past too. Because he did a lot of early
like political cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, well, he did not political cartoons. I don't think so much, but like some ad stuff for war during wartime. So
yeah. The guy was pro-American. You can't have that.
Yeah, not today. Back in the day, apparently you could.
Wait, are you guys telling me the guy that lived 100 years ago had antiquated ideas? Well, guys, whoa, Stop the presses.
I don't know if it's so much the pictures, but the rhymes, I don't know.
And that whole green eggs matter thing, that wasn't good.
Green eggs matter. I feel right now we're tiptoeing.
I will avoid all of this.
Well, that one book where he's like, I will not eat eggs with a Guido. I
will not eat eggs in a Speedo. Right. It crossed too many lines. It really did.
I will not eat them in a box or with a Mick. That didn't even rhyme. I don't know why I said that. All right, you're right. We've
so moving on.
Line. Let's do something else.
Guys, now I know as comics and we get to travel around, we get to work with a lot of different people and a lot of people that some people would consider big celebrities. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, I want to know if you guys had any encounters with celebrities that you were before you were a comedian or a non-club atmosphere. Have you bumped into anybody?
I'm actually terrible with faces and placing people. I thought you were Brian. Sorry. It's the background. The background made me think of it. So if I see someone out in public, and even if I know them, it honestly takes me a few seconds to calculate who they are and get all the stuff. So I've met these famous people, didn't know who they were until someone said something. In fact, I was in Los Angeles, and I was in a juice / ice cream shop. I'll let you guess which half I was getting, and so I there's a guy who walks in and we strike up a conversation. We talk for a few minutes about just about life and juice and stuff, and very nice guy, and leaves. And then someone goes, "Oh, you know Dax Shepard?" And I was like, "Who?" And then I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, I know that guy. That's right." So that's kind of always been my brush with fame, is where I don't remember who they are, and so I don't care. also is another issue. And so I just sort of I just do that. Yeah.
I'm
Mine
surprised that person didn't say to you, you know, Kristen Bell's husband. That's a little more accurate.
Yeah.
Depends on the time period on when you met him.
So I remember my first brush with fame was so you're right, as entertainers now we encounter a lot of pretty famous people and so forth. And even on working on the cruise ship, sometimes there would be, celebrities there. But before all that, when I was in the Navy, I was in Chicago, where the ocean is.
Oh, okay.
At Great Lakes near the Naval Training Station there. And I went to a DMV with a buddy. I took him there because he needed to get his license renewed or something. Anyway, we were at the DMV and in walks, I can't remember his name now. This is how important he was. No, he was, what's up, Willis? Or what was his name?
Todd Bridges?
Yeah, no, not Todd Bridges, the brother. What's his name? The little guy.
Yeah, Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman, yeah.
What you talking about, Mike?
Yeah. I said, what's up, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? Oh, man, my brain's not working this early. What's up, Willis?
I like that you would actually say that to him. Hey, what's up, Willis?
Gary Coleman came in to get his driver's license. So I must have been about 22 maybe or something. And apparently he had turned 16 and came in he came in, I saw him, I thought, oh my gosh. And then they shuffled him into a back room for some reason. But but that was the first time
you're like, what's up, Willis?
And I looked at him, I was just like, whoa, that's the guy from it was a big deal. Since then, not so much a big deal, but that's my big brush with fame.
Did you pick him up to put him to the window, or?
I said, "Oh, look at you, just a little fella." He didn't like that.
You know what's even better is if you saw Gary Coleman back then. If you walked up to him and said, "Oh man, Emmanuel Lewis, hey, how's it going?" See, they hate that.
Want a Whopper?
One, they hate being misplaced as another celebrity, and number two is when you do it as Norm Macdonald. Oh my God! Yeah, let me on your show. Yeah, that's.
Did you have a brush with fame, Brian?
So, I've had several weird ones. Like I met the DeLuise brothers once in a weird scenario, but I don't want to talk about that. It was at a film festival. Not a big deal.
Somebody's basement. I don't want to talk about it.
It was in a pool full of spaghetti. I don't want to talk about it.
So this is the strangest one. So if you know or don't know, I in addition to being a comedian before that, I was a video producer and believe me, corporate video. It's not like I'm doing commercials with people. Anyways, I had a client who was a woman who wrote children's books, and then she would perform children's books at schools all over the country. Okay. One day she says to me, we were doing a shoot. She wanted to capture some stuff. And I said, fine. So she says, this guy who's kind of my manager is going to come and tag along with us. And I said, that's fine. And she goes, he's kind of famous in a way. And I said, okay, who is he? And she goes, well, and she told me what his name was. And for the life of me, I can't find it. I believe I have his phone number somewhere. I'd call him if we could, but it's been several years. She says, he's famous because he was on an episode of Seinfeld. And I thought, oh man, Seinfeld. Sure. Everybody knows Seinfeld. Everybody knows. I'm thinking, please be the soup Nazi or somebody, right? So it turns out he's the guy. Do you guys remember the episode of You Got to See the Baby? You got to see
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He was the dad in the You Got to See the Baby episode. Now, if you watch this episode, if you find it, you look at it, he has no lines at all. He is in a couple shots. I do have one shot here. If you're actually watching the show right now, the shot of him off to the side here. In the yellow, he's got on a yellow sweater. And that's it. No talking lines, a couple of just nods in the back, and then one shot of them looking over into the thing. I spent an entire day with this guy, but it was kind of funny. He was very Hollywood the whole time. Very moving those shoulders, kind of like, hey, you want to stop and get a coffee? Let's get a coffee before we go to the next school. Oh man, this is great. Almost, I'm not going to say he said the words out of sight, but we were almost there. Oh man, this is all right. The whole day. Then at the end of the day, he somehow snuck a beer into my vehicle while I was driving. I looked over and he was in a sack drinking. So yeah, I committed a crime with the.
That's funny.
You got to see the baby.
He didn't That the dad didn't have one line in the whole
That one
episode?
line. What's funny is I'm not sure, but I think the same couple later on he was recast, and then the other guy actually had lines.
Is that the same one where George tricked somebody into eating lobster in the Hamptons?
I think it is that's the same couple, but he's not in that episode, I think.
Oh,
But yeah, you're right. It is the same in the Hamptons. I can't remember the name. I tried looking it up beforehand. That's the that baby looks like Lyndon Johnson.
Have you guys seen these HBO documentary called Fake Famous?
Yes.
Have you, Josh?
I haven't. You've talked about it, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's fairly interesting. I will say this: when you watch it, just know that there are many people that hate that documentary. Many people who are fake famous hate that documentary. It just kind of exposes how all of this really works. How the fame of YouTube people like me, being famous on YouTube right now, doing this, everything you see is fake. This background, for example, is fake. What they'll do is they'll go to like some hotel room and take pictures and put up a fake backdrop or whatever, and make it look like they're somewhere much nicer than they are. All of this to an attempt to get people to like and follow and think they're living extravagant.
My absolute favorite moment of that entire documentary was the toilet seat to simulate the airplane window.
They literally hold up a toilet seat, and the guy's head next to it looked like an airplane window.
Yeah, then I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
I think overall, I think you can look at it two ways. You can look at it if you're a current Instagrammer and you're looking at it going,
influencer, Brian, get with it.
Right?
Yeah, Brian, I'm an influencer. Okay,
I'm over 50, and we call that a hobby. Anyway, but here's the thing. I think if you are an influencer and you're currently doing well, you look at that and you'd hate it. If you're an up and coming influencer, you're like, okay, so how many bots for $100? And what are the name of these services? I think it was a how-to almost for some people.
I think people look at it two ways. The people like that wanted to be the influencer, like, okay, so how do I get fake followers and fake this? And then there are people like me watching and go, so these guys are making $5 a fake. How do I create fake bots for people and sell those?
Yeah.
I want to know is how do you get these, like for us as comics, how do we get these fake people to come to our shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
How
do I get fake people to buy real tickets is what I want to know.
Whatever giant room, like, remember Silicon Valley when they bought all the fake bots? It's that room just full in India. Like, how do I get those people to a show?
Human shaped fake, but it's
if I know they're coming, sure, I'll do a ticket split. I don't care. We'll find a venue. Let's just do it.
I do remember a couple of years ago, there was a girl who had, I think, 2 million followers. And so she decided to start her own clothing line, and it was a big deal. She's put a lot of money into it. And then she sold, 30 shirts. And they realized that a lot of them were not real people.
Well, I feel bad. So if you have one of those influencers that happens to have either a parent or somebody that has a lot of money that's going to fuel that, and then they even get like a manager or somebody that actually goes and does that for them, and they don't know that, you're going to sell 30 shirts to your real followers.
It turns out that is very common, according to this documentary, where these big influencers, a lot of them have so much influence, or perceived influence, I should say, because they have people, advertisers, companies sending them free products just to plug on their show, because they have so many followers and so many watchers and stuff. Well, it turns out even the views of their channel aren't real people. They're just programmed to go and fake click and do all this stuff. So the advertising dollars are not getting very far, and advertisers are finally starting to catch on to this. So I think you're going to start to see a decline in that whole world. Yeah. Have you ever seen these YouTube videos of people who just as an experiment go out and pretend to be famous? So they'll have buddies or hire people or whatever. They'll pull up in a limo somewhere, have people taking their picture, asking for their autograph, all of this stuff. And they're nobody. They're just, nobody knows who they are in real life. But it starts to draw a big crowd, and everybody else is like getting their picture taken, and they want to post stuff. It's pretty funny.
You know what, Mike? I'll do you one better. Josh, I don't know if you know this, but oftentimes when Mike and I are at the club afterwards, Mike always wears a nice sports jacket, his blazer. And then if we go downstairs to go grab a drink or something, there will be people that will look at Mike just because, he's a little bit older. He's got a little silver in his hair and he's got on a nice blazer, who will come up and say, "Hey, you're the guy who owns the Coyotes, right?" And then Mike, his lovable credit, will say, "Yes, I am." And it's a riot to watch. Girls come up to him and go, "You own this whole thing, don't you?" "Yes, I do." It's very worthwhile. But my point is, it's not even a question of fake famous. They want to be a part of something so much that they see you and think, "Ooh, that guy looks famous. Let's go over there."
That looks like with him. That looks like a guy who must be important because he's wearing a sport coat in this dump of a place or whatever.
And just so you know, there are young kids out there who have pictures with Mike James on their Instagram page right now, playing or whatever. So
one of them said, "I met Mr. Coyote." I saw that one time.
Yeah, I have the same problem, except for people think I'm Taft. So I have.
I think they said Daft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. That's one thing. I think we could talk a long time about. I've got several opinions on the influencer thing, and just it's this weird round robin of the bots and all that other stuff. But it's some kind of weird cyclical thing that it needs one to perpetuate the other.
I think the problem with it, my only problem with it, teach his own, and good for them. They're making some money with no talent. That's great. But my bigger problem with it is it's drawn their influence and the impression for other children and other younger people is that my life depends on me gaining followers. So they're obsessed with constantly posting and doing all these crazy things just to get people to watch and like them online. These people who, growing up, we were always taught, don't worry about what other people think, just be the best person you can be, et cetera, et cetera. But boy, kids today are given an opposite message of just do whatever it takes to get people to follow you.
It's the psychology of the like, unfortunately, is what it works out to be.
Oh, did you patent that, Brian? The psychology of the like.
Psychology of the like.
The psychology of the like.
I'm going to copyright it right now. Yeah. So, hey, we're coming to the end of the show here.
Before we go, Brian, I need to ask, why is your screen off behind you? I mean, I look forward to your screensaver every week.
Yeah, there's no fish in the fish tank.
I wanted to do something different today because Chris wasn't here. So
it's in mourning of Chris's.
So again, Chris, we hope you're getting better with your walking pneumonia. When you return, I'll turn that screen off, my friend.
Well, that's solidarity right there.
It was that or shave my head. I'm not doing that. So
I have to get a haircut today
as I can. So, but yeah, Chris Wineland's not here. But if you want to follow Chris, you can go to @Chris Wineland Comedy. Pretty much find him anywhere you want. Josh, we've got Josh. You've got the excellent JoshNovey.ninja. I'm very jealous of that.
You can also it's just like the .coms or anything, and then someone out there took my domain and tried to make me buy it for a lot of money, and I was like, no, it's because I don't have any money. So
is it that other Josh Novey, the figure skater, the roller skate guy?
It's not. I would tell you that I know of one other Josh Novey in the country, and as far as Josh Noveys are doing, I'm crushing the Josh Novey game.
All right. Yeah. Well, make sure you go to the correct JoshNovey.ninja, and of course MikeJamesComedy.com, where you can see all kinds of fake famous pictures of Mike.
Pictures of me with
Photoshop. Is Mike with the Statue of Liberty? Which one's more famous?
I like how I'm like this with the Statue of Liberty, just hugging it. That wasn't Photoshop. That was really me. Statue of Liberty is only 6 feet tall.
And of course, I always do this. I always forget to include myself. You can visit my site. You can come visit any of my stuff. All my contacts and everything are also from Brian. But with mine, you have to get past my last name if you can spell it. So Koh.
Okay, so I know we're running short on time here, but we go places all the time. Brian and I, we go to do shows and stuff, and they need to introduce you, and they will say, "So how do you pronounce it?" I from the day I met you, I knew your last name, how to say it, and how to spell it without question. It's so obvious to me, but boy,
Yeah.
people really have trouble. Although I was introduced one time as Mike Hammies.
I had a lady that was looking at my name on the piece of paper when she was introducing me and said, up next is Jim Harvey. she read my bio and then who's got blah, 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 dry bar, blah, blah, blah. Jim Harvey.
Jim Harvey. I love Jim Harvey.ninja.
Jim Harvey is the guy that you hung out with. Hey, it's groovy, guys. Hey.
My favorite was the woman who gave up on my name halfway. She's like, Kohatsu, 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 Kohatsu. Got it. She goes up on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian. Then afterwards, I got off stage. She goes, huh? Las Vegas. I'm like, I'm from Arizona. What? What? Oh,
all right, man. Is anything coming up? Anything?
I don't have anything coming up until we do have a pseudo show. We're participating in a show with Chris Wineland at his church coming up in I believe it's March 23rd or something around there. It's a Thursday night, I believe. Other than that, we don't have much going on.
March 12th and 13th, I will be at Stir Crazy Comedy Club and in Glendale, Arizona.
And Mike, you're bypassing the large, big announcement. You'll be recording your Dry Bar special March 23rd, 27th in Provo, Utah. So if you're in the Utah area and you want to meet Mike James, you can. I believe tickets are available at drybar.com.
That's correct. Thank
Josh,
you.
I have nothing, absolutely nothing going on. Hire me. I need money, please.
Okay. Well, you folks have heard it. That pretty much takes it for today's episode of The Morning Laugh. Again, Chris, we hope you're doing well. Everybody else, we hope you have a wonderful day. We will catch you guys next Thursday. All right. And check out the podcast if you haven't already. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.